Welcome to Living in 3D Power. Discover your truth, discern your path, determine your power. I'm Dr. Amber Sessoms, and together, let's unlock our power, build authentic connections, and foster collective liberation.
Hey, it's me, Emma. Today is our live. Yay!
We're figuring it out, Emma, right?
It took us a couple more seconds than we and
So it's a tad bit stressful before we started. The camera, well,
I was
wasn't.
Fine.
Of course she was fine.
I was playing my
Your retro, your Y2K.
yes, my DS.
Your DS. Let's make sure our people tuned in. So I have way too much technology in front of me. I was hoping you could help me out. And who do we have behind the scenes today,
Daddy, my father.
Daddy's helping us today because we're trying something new. I kept hearing Emma in my head say, just do it, just do it.
Just do it.
So I was like, well, wouldn't it be fun if our last episode was alive? So we're trying it out. So let's see if anyone's on here. Let's see what it looks like.
Not our last episode forever.
Oh, for the season. Sorry,
For the season.
You're right.
For the season.
What's it looking like, Daddy? Oh, look. Well, it's showing up here on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think Daddy's looking at it on YouTube. And then we're also on LinkedIn. So let's check that out.
We got 3 devices.
I know. Well, let's see. Where is LinkedIn? Making sure we're all good to go. I feel like this is when people get on and they're like, we're going to wait for some more people to join the live.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it looks like on.
I watch live
look.
streamers.
There we are. So we're on. It's working. So we are using Riverside. We're trying something. I originally started with Riverside, and then I switched to Script because it seemed to be more for our conversations in person, and Riverside seemed to be more for if you're joining in virtually. But Riverside allows you to push through to other devices. So small
I
plug
think
there.
Mommy beat my outfit today.
Oh, wait. This is what you get because last week you came for me.
Let's see.
I'm not sure what's going on. Don't let Uncle Avery see it. I told you someone
I was
responded in the
being
chat.
lazy.
Well, I told her, I said, we're at home, so why do I have to get dressed up when I'm just sitting in my living room? And now you took my advice today, see? Even though last week or a few days ago, when someone I put the clip up of you talking about whose outfit's better, and someone was like, yeah, Mom, she did win.
Not today, though. But you see the little clip and the little swoop? I ate the hair, but not the outfit.
But you know what she did with her hair that I found out today? Daddy, did you realize what Emma did with her hair? Emma cut her hair. Daddy's trying to stay quiet in the background. He was just like, yeah, I went to do some retwist today, and I noticed some pieces in the front. Looks like she was trying to frame her hair in the front. We noticed that today. But you know, we were breathing through it. So today, what are we going to talk about today,
So basically, we are going to talk about our favorite episodes and moments, and we are going to try to answer a lot of your guys' questions.
Yes. And you know what I need to do, though? Because I need that pillow. Can I have that pillow? I need the pillow. It does help.
Trade.
Oh, you want
You gotta trade.
the faux rabbit fur. Ooh. Yeah, this is usually how we do it. That's much better from my back. Okay, so what episode? This is episode officially 25, Emma, even though you did that bonus the other day. But this is 25 episodes, and we decided it's summertime. We're going to take a summer break.
Yes.
We need to breathe. We need to relax.
Yes.
And then it gives us some time to think about what comes next. And we'd love to hear from y'all about what comes next. Someone did send me a DM the other day and said they had a suggestion about, have you considered interviewing other people?
Yes,
we have kind of talked about that. So
yeah, but
we need to explore that.
when we ask them, they say maybe, sure, or no.
Who's they?
Mine, Jojo.
Well, yeah, Maya's like, absolutely not.
She's like, no, I'm not doing that. And Jojo's like, maybe, sure.
And you know what interesting part is some people don't realize that we have 3 girls. So if y'all didn't realize that, Emma's actually the youngest. But some people think that you were an only child because you were so out there and the other 2...
I'm not an only child.
You're not, but you're the one that is the most, I will say, outgoing, has the most extroverted, dynamic personality. So some people think it's just her, but it's really not. There's a bunch of y'all. So I'm hoping Graham and Tom and Papa were able to figure out how to get on.
Oh, I know Graham's struggling.
Wait, Graham, if you're on, you got to put something in the comments because Emma just said she knows that you're struggling. Now, she might not be able to figure out the comments, but she might send a text message instead.
I'm sorry, Graham.
This is why I told her to go to YouTube and not do Facebook because she doesn't have a Facebook account.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a really bad idea to get her on Facebook because I feel like she'd lock herself out. What was that, Daddy? Daddy was shaking his head like she will lock herself out and then she'll be calling and being like, I locked myself out of the account.
Can you guys help me?
So YouTube, I thought, was an easier choice for her and the family. So that's the link we gave. So family, let us know if you're here. But yes, we are on episode, this is our 25th episode. We decided this would be a natural, nice pause.
Yes.
We started in January. Can you believe that?
Oh my gosh.
So
Really?
starting in January, thinking about just this 6 months, this half of the year and everything that's happened in our world, today being especially heavy with the passing of that HR1 bill, which basically is going to be stripping healthcare away from people that need it the most. So it's really, really frustrating. And I think at the time that it just kind of came to me, this idea of saying, let's sit down and talk.
Podcast.
Was, I think I was grieving or just really upset about what was happening in our world. The new presidency. And I was like, let me just sit down and talk with Emma. And I think what's happened and what I didn't realize what has happened is that it has really helped me. Just talking with you and... because you're very, very insightful, but I think what also has been powerful is it has helped so many other people. So the the bonus video you did yesterday where you're like, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in and telling me that I'm the star. And what happened last week that was that last week when we were out? Was that Juneteenth last week? That was 2 weeks ago. People were coming up to you saying what?
Oh my gosh, the star. Oh my gosh.
And that's the first one I think Daddy got to see that. So
wow.
He's like, oh my gosh, Emma. So usually I'll be at one time I was at the doctor's office and one of the receptionists comes from around the back and comes to tell me, oh my gosh, I love your podcast and your daughter is so insightful.
Thank you.
People have come up and said things like, she really helped me think about how hard it is at work and how I need to find my voice. These are adults saying this about you. So I think it's really, really powerful because the whole purpose of getting us together was to center your voice, to understand that you as a child have wisdom and that our job as parents is to make sure that you can be as expansive and be as free as you need to be. But what has helped us do as adults is understand that there's a part of us that we still need to explore and get back to. Because remember you said we're too busy being adults that we don't create. So, oh, wait, she looked over at Daddy a little bit over there.
No.
Even though you said last week Daddy's the most creative person in the house, but you said that because he has he knows more. So because he has more skill set, but you're learning and growing along with it. So let's think about this. So let's think about the first 25 episodes.
Wait, I have something to say.
Oh, okay.
About our glasses.
Oh, wait.
If you guys have not noticed, I got new glasses, and she did too.
But let me just talk about Emma's glasses. Okay, I have 2 things to say, but your glasses are very Y2K. I don't know what's happening,
That's what I'm
y'all.
going through.
That's what you're going through.
I mean, going for.
Going for the Y2K look. These were my first pair, so that exact style, it was a little bit wider on the side. I remember it was my first, I don't know if Daddy remembers this, but it was when I started as a school psychologist. They were, I think, tan on the side, and they were brown. They were shaped just like that, and I thought I was so cool. It was like 2008, 2006. You couldn't tell me anything. And then you picked those up the other day, and I'm like, please do not get those.
But
That's
I
very
did.
early 2000s.
I'm making sure none of my friends see these because I want to shock them when I come back to school and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, those glasses.
Well, I'll make sure to tell them to if they're not watching, to replay and watch this episode.
No.
And then my glasses, I will say this is the first time, even though Emma is more compassionate and she's kinder, we've talked about that on the show, Maya is the ultimate hater when it comes to any glasses I pick out.
Yes.
But I was there picking out my glasses and I sent her pictures and she liked all 3 of the frames I picked out. I couldn't believe it. I said, something's happening. The world is shifting. So
she actually said that?
She said she liked all 3. So there's a little, you can't really see them though, but they got some swirls on them. They got some flowers on them. I like to get a little something funky.
Did you see mine?
So Emma said she feels like a new person because we didn't realize that Emma's vision got a little worse and she was seeing double at math class at the end of the day. So that wasn't great. Genetics.
From you.
Yeah, I was hoping you would take after Daddy with his eyes, but here we are.
It's a -1 in one eye.
That's way better than me.
She's a -7.
I know y'all didn't hear that. She said I'm a -7. Don't come for me because I have an aunt, and she might be listening. She's -9, so it makes me feel a little bit better that I'm a 7.
-9?
But you know what? I caused that myself because back in the 80s, you know how you had the biggie? And I asked the doctor this the other day when I got my checkup or when I was there with you. And I said, well, back then, I lied and I said I couldn't see it because I wanted glasses so bad. So I remember, I can't see the E. The E's the biggest letter. I said I couldn't see it. But now they have such great technology. They can tell what your eye prescription is.
Yeah, they put this whole machine on you. They're like, okay.
Back in the day, they didn't have that. So when I got my glasses, I literally thought I was downhill skiing. Like, it was like, I messed my eyes up. So that was partly my fault. This is why we tell the truth. Because there are long-term consequences like poor vision. Yeah. So, Emma, let's think about these last 25 episodes. I was going back through memory lane. What I did was I transcribed every single episode, which means it took everything that... Do you know what that means?
Transcribe. I heard of it.
Okay, so you take what's said and you put it in written form. So it took everything and I put it into documents because I have an idea that my friend gave me, Stephen Sharp, about a potential book idea about our conversations, which I think is a wonderful idea. But I took all 25 episodes, even the bonus clip, and then the one where you kind of recapped our live at the Ware Center. And I was like, let me see what comes up, what emerges. So I put it in, I think this was Notebook LM. So you know how this morning you listened to the fake podcast and it was recapping our actual podcast?
They acted like they knew me.
They did. It was a little creepy.
They said, my daughter, Emma.
Yeah, she was saying your daughter, and then the other guy was like, oh, my friend. Yeah. But this one was a little bit more off than the other ones are. But what it did was it also gave me some themes. So I just kind of want to run through them with you. And it also gave me some of your most impactful quotes. So the first thing, it was like talking about identity and self-worth. I think the thing that stood out to me was, remember when you took the VIA character strengths assessment? Mm-hmm. And I asked you, are any of these things surprising to you? And what did you say?
No.
You were so like, nothing surprises me. I knew this about myself. And that was the immediate pause to me because I'm like, I wish everyone could experience that. I wish everyone knew themselves well enough to know what their strengths were. And it's literally the work that I do with people, grown adults that don't know what their strengths are. So for you at 10 to recognize your strengths, I thought that was huge. So that gave me a big pause. And also, I want to say the first episode, here's the things that really came from me. The first episode when I asked you about recapping last year, and I said, what was some of the biggest moments for you, your happiest moment and your hardest moment or your saddest moment? Do you remember what you said?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Do I have to say it?
You don't have to. You don't want to? Mm-mm. Well, I'll just replay because I think it, again, you gave me permission in that moment. And I actually, in that moment, didn't know how to respond because your happiest moment was, did you say your birthday? Who you said your birthday? I actually can't remember what the reason it was Coco. It was baby Coco's birth. That was your happiest moment. And your saddest and hardest moment was baby Harlem. And that was episode 1, y'all. So for you to start off when I asked you that, I didn't know what you were going to say, right? You said, and I remember like sitting there kind of, my breath kind of stopped a little bit. And I remember saying something to Uncle Mel and Aunt Misa about, she brought up baby Harlem and baby Coco. And it's like those bookends. So thinking about baby Harlem, who was stillborn, and how he's so much still a part of our family, right? And that you will always remember him. And that being such an impactful moment of your life. And then to have this beautiful baby Coco,
She's perfect.
She is perfect.
She's perfect.
I'm sorry, y'all. We're not even biased.
The cutest baby in the world. I'm not lying.
She is. She's beautiful.
Amazing, spectacular, gorgeous, angelic.
All the things. So I think those were some of the biggest moments. Which you did for me in that moment was I had to sit with that a little bit afterwards, and I had to ask myself why in that moment did I kind of stop breathing, and I had to process it a little bit. And I think because it was our first episode, and I was like, I don't know where this podcast is going to go, but I was like, oh, she's going to be real. We're going in. So I think that helped to honor the authenticity and the truth of what we were bringing. And that's something I try to live by, but you pushed me even further in that moment. So I just thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, I mean, what about you? What were some of the big highlights for you, or the gems that you dropped maybe?
You talked about this one. Just do it.
Just do it. That is your... Well, we said, I would say on the episodes, I would say, do you have any nuggets of wisdom? And then you added what?
Just do it.
You added chicken nugget wisdom. And I didn't even catch it at first. And then Daddy's like, that's actually really genius. She's talking about like a chicken nugget. And I didn't catch it when you first said it. I was like, why does she keep saying chicken nugget? So your chicken nugget wisdom this entire season has been?
Basically, just do it.
Just do it. And remember you said that on stage at the Wear Center. Mm-hmm. So you want to say more about that?
So basically, just do it.
Nike.
What?
They might come for you. I'm not talking about your socks. That's the Nike slogan, is just do it.
Oh. I didn't know that. I thought you were talking about my socks.
No.
Oh, my.
So just do it is, I don't know how old. I mean, it's probably going back. Is it 80s, 90s? It's old.
2000?
I mean, it's older than that. So just do it as Nike. But why did you keep saying that? Because I think one of the earlier episodes we were talking about, I think I asked you a question about, do you think adults have lost their creativity? And you said yes. Why?
Because when they want to do something, they just don't do it because they're thinking about all the things that they have to do. And they're like, oh, I have to do that, and I have to do blah, 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 blah.
So all these adult responsibilities.
So you just don't do it. But you can do it if you make enough time.
And I think what you're saying, like we have to...
Like take breaks.
Take breaks and do what we
like
love.
At school.
Oh, yeah, you talked about recess and how you don't have enough time at recess. So I hear what you're saying.
And
like
lunch.
And lunch.
30 minutes.
But I think we realize that as kids, right? Kids have to have recess because you have so much energy to get out. But I don't think it's just about the energy. And sometimes we think recess is about they need to get their energy out or they're going to be getting in trouble. It's because we need breaks. We need rest. We need play in our lives. And what you're saying is adults, we're too busy adulting and we miss out on creating and what I think our true purpose is because we're so depleted.
Play with you.
You try. See, and I'm not, you're like, can we play in the 95-degree weather? I'm like, girl.
It's fine.
You gotta let it cool down a little bit. That heat, it gets the elders, the elderly.
So, like Maya?
No, and the teenagers, I guess.
Maya was like,
that was vacation last year. Ridiculous, like she was gonna die.
I gotta go back. I gotta go back in my room. Ooh.
This is true. But I think what you're talking about is legitimate, though. Like, we have to find more times. And what we have done and what you have helped me to do is creating time just to pause and to think about what inspires me, what helps me to be creative, getting back to that. So I think last episode, pulling out those old sketchbooks that I have from like thinking about JCPenney catalogs to how I would sketch my outfits or plan out my wardrobe and plan out just anything. I would just draw and draw and draw and create. And I got away from that because life, right? And how do you get back to that? It looks differently. And we talked last week about creativity isn't just painting and drawing. You're creative in so many different ways. So creating time, which is also why we're pausing, so that we can create, so that we can replenish. Have fun, replenish ourselves, all of those things so that we can come back rejuvenated and fresh. And also not thinking about vacation is just something you do once a year. You got to build in those moments to pause and breathe throughout the year so we don't get run down and tired and ragged. Right? Mm-hmm. So what other like big aha moments or gems did you drop this season?
What's aha?
Like mind blown. That was good. What do y'all do? Y'all do something with your fingers. What's this thing? Y'all were doing, I don't know what it is, like that 8 or that tracks. I don't know what y'all say. I can't keep up with the lingo. I'm not in the schools anymore, so I don't know. Stop making that face. What is it? Do you know what they do with the finger?
What is this?
I don't know, y'all. Put it in chat. Is there something that people do? They did it when we had the kids, when we were at church, where people were dropping gems. They kept going like this. It's not snapping your fingers, but it's something. Anyway, if y'all know, let me know. This is why I used the Urban Dictionary. Everything. If the kids would say something or do something, I would literally Urban Dictionary it because I didn't know what they were saying. My age be showing sometimes. Any other gems?
Sometimes.
Ooh, okay. Any other nuggets? What are you thinking? What are the big things, moments from this season?
Let me think.
Or maybe something that people were like, oh, they kind of got on me about, because you got on me about something. Remember we talked about Maya Angelou's, no, it was Toni Morrison, you meet your children with kindness or gladness. What did you say?
You don't.
They can't hear you if you're whispering.
You don't.
Well, yeah, we were talking about Michelle Obama on the podcast, and she says when Sasha Malia would come down, she wouldn't say good morning. The first thing she'd be like, "Oh, you're disheveled, like, or you're wrinkled. Go fix that. Go fix that." And then you were like, "You do that.
You do that all the time." I had this little speck of like.
It was not little.
Stain. It was like this little, and she was like, "Take that off." Like,
Your shirt had a stain on it.
It wasn't even that bad. It was like right here and it was tiny.
Right in the middle.
I could have blocked it off like this.
That you could have improvised if you didn't have time. That would have been the next best up.
Mm-hmm. But I had like 2 seconds.
Yeah. So it was meeting your children with kindness, and you're like, yeah. You'll be like, you're ashy, go lotion. And I was like, oh, she's calling me out now.
I'm properly lotioned today. I made sure of that.
You've come a long way. So we've talked about that. And I think that was one of the things that when I put everything in, all the transcripts in, it picked up is talking about how we critique people and how meeting people with kindness and how we can be kinder to each other. One of your values is kindness,
yes.
Love, fairness. So those kind of things. So thinking about if that's one of your values and I'm being critical, you might take it even harder because that's something that's really important to you as being kind. You might see it as being really unkind. So those are things that we have to think about. So I think it's really important for everyone to take a strength assessment.
That much.
Because you checked me on the podcast, which you repeatedly do. And I remember early on, before we even did our first episode, Uncle Bob, who's about, how old was Uncle Bob? Like 96?
Who?
Uncle Bob's like 96. He was on Facebook. He gets on Facebook. Now, if he can get on Facebook and Graham can't get on Facebook, that says something. But anyway, he's on Facebook before we even dropped the first episode. He goes, just make sure, because I said something about what does staying in a child's place actually mean? And what if we kind of rethought that? And he was like, at least you better know who's the boss, or something like that, he said in the chat, which was really funny to me. But I think often some people might think about some of the things that you say. They might be like, "Oh, she's getting a little too big for her britches." But I know someone said to me before, "I love how she's open in her conversations, and then sometimes when she veers off a little bit, you kind of get her back on track." Sometimes I'm like, "Okay, that was too much."
Yeah, I do that a lot.
So we're learning and growing together. So yeah, so Daddy, what do we have any? If y'all have any comments, any questions, anything, please make sure you put that in here. We would love to hear from you. I see someone sitting here saying rooting for you, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
She's always, this is the one. So Jessica, I've never met her. She lives in California, and this is the thing about that now we're so interconnected because of COVID, and now everything is virtual. We did some trainings together, and she sent you a really good question, and I can't remember what the question was, but your response and thinking about I think what you love about yourself, and I think those are really important things. What you're inspiring people to do is really think about themselves and what they love about themselves and honoring that. And here she goes, y'all, mocking me, my hand motions. These are some things I do. So let me see here are some other things that are coming up, what I put in this chat. But yeah, if y'all have any comments, questions, or ideas.
Can I ask questions to them?
Wait. Oh, wait, here comes. You can, but I don't know if they'll respond. Look, Graham's sending a text. She said, "Oh, I made Uncle Bob too old." She's telling me, she's also being like, and I got on. No, she's like, Uncle Bob will be 93, and I'm get on Facebook. Okay, no, this is YouTube, Graham. I think you're going to get on YouTube because you don't have a Facebook account, and I don't know what happens if you don't have a Facebook. So hopefully Graham can get it. But Uncle Bob is 93, but he is on that Facebook. So some other things that came up thinking about, one of the things that Dr. Byron McClure, who's another school psychologist, says is it's not what's wrong with you, it's what's strong with you. So again, focusing on our strengths is really important. I think a really big thing, let's talk about that Wear Center experience. Your first keynote. What did you think about that? Because that was, I remember walking in when you walked in and saw the auditorium, you were like, oh my gosh. It was overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
What did you think about that experience though?
It was cool.
It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I asked you, but what was your favorite part?
Getting the gift bag.
Oh, because before when I asked you, you said it was the pictures.
The pictures.
Your favorite part was taking the pictures. And another thing, do you recall how you felt when you were going on stage and you looked back at me like, oh my gosh?
I don't want to do that.
And then what happened when you got on stage? They were cheering for you, right? And I think for me, what this season has taught me is, and someone put that in, I think it was on TikTok, Keisha Finney, who's an artist, she did your henna.
Yeah.
What she said was it's basically like, yeah, it is going away. But you're reclaiming, it's like the little children in us. You're helping us to feel seen. And I think that has been something that I didn't expect, is that there's certain things that you say in your experience that are so different than mine. Like when I asked you about, do you ever feel like you don't belong at school?
No.
And I'm like, what? Like, you're the only one in the classroom.
There's some. There's like a couple mixed people, and then there's one other black person.
So, I mean, you had more than I had, but there's not a lot. So it was about 1.8% black. And what I think was amazing is that you're like, no, I've never felt that way. Mm-mm. And so for me, thinking back to when I was your age, remember I said that I didn't like my skin or my hair? And for the reason I think it's so powerful is because that does not even compute to you. You're like, what are you talking about? My hair is amazing. My skin is amazing. Mm-hmm. And I think so for me, looking at you and being...
Except on wash day. I love my hair except on wash day.
This is true. She's gotten a little bit better, but I'm telling you, this is why we actually locked her hair, because when I say the child is tender-headed, it doesn't even make sense how tender-headed you are. Even when I retwist, you're like, I'm like, I only palm rolled it one turn. And you are like, oh my gosh. So we did. We locked it so that we wouldn't have to part it, detangle it, do all the things because it was stressful.
Yeah,
I feel like
it
Daddy
was.
would leave the house. He would try to run, or he would just be like, I'm just going to go away because this is really, it's a
he
lot.
would leave.
He would leave, but sometimes he'd be like, I'm going to come and sit with you. It's okay, Emma. And then we kind of figured out methods. Maybe it was silly putty or watching movies. Something. Because, my goodness, it was too stressful. It was too much. It was.
It was.
And then it makes me think, though,
It's not
because
my fault that I'm tender-headed.
you got to build up your endurance. You got to build up your resilience.
How? How do I do that? You say.
I feel like you just gotta you just gotta eat it. I feel like this is a part of just, and I don't know y'all, like if you have girls out there and you yourself thinking about your black hair, I'm trying to figure out ways so that when we think about hair and doing our hair with our mothers and our caregivers, that it's a beautiful experience. But oftentimes it wasn't. Like you would get beat with the brush. You see, like smack, like if you put a hand back there, you get them knuckles hit. But sometimes, get Emma. You about to tell on me? Did I get frustrated? Oh man!
Emma, stop crying.
The hair situation. So if you have tips, y'all, the tip for me was that we locked our hair, and that made a difference. We would detangle. I would put a pound of detangler in your hair. That helped. It also helped when we had just do the twist. We would wash your hair with the twist in.
Why can't you just wash my hair and be done?
Because you have to retwist it or it's going to get all matted and then you can't. And you're going to look like, I mean, if that's your look. Is
Jack
that, what's
Sparrow?
his name? No, what's the Weeknd? Wasn't that him? He had the organic locks. I don't remember but like, so Jay-Z,
Oh, yeah.
they kind of just grow how your hair grows. If you want that look.
I
but
want my afro back.
Girl, we're not ready for that.
When I move out.
Yeah, because I'm not dealing with that. So what else, Emma? So what are you thinking? Like thinking ahead. So as we take this break, come back. I'll say mid-August. What do you think it could look differently? Because we've talked about and people are asking. You consider interviewing people. Uncle Avery put in the chat earlier today or yesterday. I want to be on the show, y'all.
We can have you here. We can have some family members here.
That would be interesting.
Families and friends. There'll be a line over here and take turns.
Take turns. I think you and Uncle Abe would be interesting because you have very similar personalities, and I could just only. You say that, but I see it. You have certain mannerisms you do that are just like him. Sometimes when you laugh, I'm like, He doesn't laugh like that.
See, I'm not like.
You're not, but you have the same type of personality. So I think that could be a possibility. Yes, bring other people in, family members. I know I talked to someone else and they said, oh my gosh, my daughter loves the show.
Oh,
and I said, oh, it would be really cool to have her on the show. I said, but we'd have to think about parental permission and all that. And she's like, done. I'd love to do that. Aww. So maybe that could be something like maybe there's other kids you want to interview. If we work through that kind of logistically or permission and how could that look. But I think the idea is, what is it going to look like when you take over, and what could that be? So I think having you do more. Listen, sky's the limit. So think it out loud. So I think that could be a possibility. So what do you think? So I think guests could be something, maybe some other segments. And then I actually was thinking about this, and I had a friend who does a lot of branding work, and she goes, what you have is perfect. Don't change it. So I think sometimes in life we think that we have to go bigger, we have to do the next big thing because people get bored. And then sometimes it's just keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
And I think that just keeping it simple might also be something that we consider too. Like, why do we have to do and make it grander or bigger, have more cameras or do more things?
Yeah.
Because then that involves more people and more money and more time. Possibly. I don't know. We'll think about it because we have some time to breathe and think about it, which I think is going to be good. So I'm looking
so
here
happy.
on anything else that really popped out to me this season, and some of the other things that came up when I put all the transcriptions in there was it picked up Aretha Franklin because I don't know any other 10-year-old that is Aretha Franklin has Aretha Franklin as one of their idols, or you're one of her biggest fans. You had a Aretha Franklin T-shirt on when we talked about Aretha Franklin on the podcast. Aunt Dana got you.
Pray for you.
We watched the biopic. I don't know how many times.
Too many.
At least
Too
yes.
many to count.
And you're talking to the thing the whole time, like, I know you didn't do that. And why can't she speak for herself because she's a woman and she doesn't need a man to speak for her? I was like, oh, who is this child?
It's a good movie.
It is good. So there's a lot of life lessons in there.
I was thinking of dressing up as her for Halloween one year, but I didn't.
Oh, that would be interesting. You have to think if people would know
A
who she
wig.
is. So let's see what else it picked up here. Don't be afraid to tell the truth. Here's one of the things you said, because I was kind of imitating someone. What if I say that thing, I might get fired? And you said, then find another job. Then find another job that listens to you and you like. And I was like, oh, it's just that simple?
No.
But I think oftentimes people stay at jobs that they don't like, that they don't feel respect them or value them, because they're afraid, how am I going to put food on the table? How am I going to pay my bills? And I think what you're inviting us to think about is, how much better quality of life could you have if you found a place that made you feel like you belong, that made you feel safe? I was talking to someone this morning, she's interviewing for some jobs, and she said she went to this place because she's been harmed by her previous workplace. And she said, I went to an interview and I felt like I was at home. And I was like, I think there's a lesson in that. You went to a completely new place that wasn't toxic, right? That wasn't negative. Mm-hmm. You felt safe there. And everyone deserves that. But so often people are in these workplaces and they don't feel safe and they stay anyway. I've heard people talk about bosses are yelling at them, screaming at them. How does that happen, right? So what you're saying is like, no, then you got to find some other place. So what do you think? What other things popped up to you? You're talking about speaking up is telling the truth. Fear is not bad. It's a natural reaction. Don't be afraid. Just do it.
Daddy, do we have any questions?
Emma really wants some questions to pop in, y'all. Maybe Graham has a question. If she can't figure out how to do it, maybe Graham can send a text. Oh, look. Let's see.
The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup.
Emma really was hoping that people would interact with her. That's all she wanted. She was like, I hope people jump on so that I can talk to people.
I love talking to people.
Let's see.
When people don't talk to me, I get sad.
Oh.
Yes.
Graham said she's on, but I don't know if she can send a question.
You sending it to the whole family group chat?
Yeah, because it might be easier.
Magic trick. So.
Okay, Aunt Dana maybe has a question.
Do you have a question? Does anyone have a question?
Daddy might have a question.
Do you?
He's thinking. Let's see here. Oh, I do see it on here. Oh, Daddy. And Miss Bondle's on here. Oh, she has a question. So, Minister Bondle Hammond, if you could interview a celebrity, who would it be, Emma?
Oh. That's.
And Miss Bondle's on here.
It's echoing.
I had to turn it down.
That's hard because I have a lot of celebrities in mind, but.
You can list them.
All of them? Okay. SZA?
Why do you keep going back to SZA? You also said, SZA, that if you wanted to create a new civil rights song, You wanted her to sing it or sing it with SZA. What's happening? Anyway,
Yeah.
you want to interview SZA?
There's this K-pop boy band named Stray Kids.
Is it Stray Kids?
Stray Kids.
Are they still out, or is that an older?
They're
So you
still
would
making-
interview them? So okay, so these are singing group.
Let me think. Cat's Eye.
Who?
It's a girl group.
So all singing groups? Any other types of celebrities?
I don't have any actors in mind.
I would think like maybe living or dead. Some people are like, if living or dead, who would you interview?
Oh, living or dead? Oh, I'll do Michael Jackson.
Michael. So all celebrity, all singers.
I
Okay.
listen to music too much.
So that's something there. So thank you for the question. So I think that I'm trying to think about, for me, who would I interview? I don't know. But that's a good question. I think I would kind of go back and time. I think right now, and this is kind of what Eddie Glaude did in one of his books. Martin Luther King, that does come. Most people say Martin Luther King, definitely. I think James Baldwin, because what he said, he spoke a lot about the times that we're in. It was almost like it was prophetic what he was saying. So I think I would want to talk to him about what's happening right now. Because he wanted us to still have hope. And sometimes you're waging hope in the midst of despair when things are so hard. And think about, how do I still have hope? How do I still have the truth? Say the truth. So I think maybe that person. I don't know. What else? Maybe Daddy got a question now. What am I supposed to be looking at? He's doing hand gestures because he's trying not to talk. I don't know what that means. On the phone, I'm like, okay, which device here? Daddy doesn't want to read. He doesn't want to say the question. I don't see anything.
Did you text her? Or did you...
You want to say the question? Or the... Oh, wait. Here it is. What would you like? This is from Daddy. He doesn't want to talk. He's a real person, by the way.
He is. He's not AI.
Someone just said the other day that you're his twin. Jametta said that. I saw that. That you look just like Daddy. Okay, so
Kinda.
Daddy's question is, what would you like people to learn from your podcast?
People to learn that this is a safe environment and we learn things here.
So what would you want them to learn about that, though? I think so. Okay, let's flip it then. So if you're saying you want them to learn that it's a safe environment, do you think part of it could be how can they create a safe environment to learn and maybe talk about some hard things? Because it reminds me, that's what Keisha said in her message when she was saying the little girls in us, that we're creating a safe space for you to say some really hard things. So I think, how do you help people create that environment to say the hard things? How are you brave enough? But I think bravery takes safety, right? On some level. So I like that. Oh, and then Aunt Florence has a question too. Do you have anything else you want people to learn, though? You have anything else you want to say about that one?
Not really.
I think for me, I think it's the adults learning that youth have wisdom, and that also that we need to tap back into our creativity and not be these big adults that have to be so serious all the time. That there's a lot that I learned. So I was talking to someone about this the other day, that I think for you represent a lot of what I think I was like at your age, but you're so expansive, and I think sometimes the world tries to contain people like you. So what I'm learning is to let you be expansive. What does that look like? To let you take up space, right? To not try to contain you and your questions, because sometimes your question can make people uncomfortable. Because I'm like, ooh, I don't know the answer to that. But I am trying to allow that to flourish in you, because I think it's important, because that's not always the case. People like to try to contain people because it makes them feel uncomfortable. And my thing is, I have to work on, you're just being curious. And curiosity, I think, is a beautiful thing because you want to learn and you want to grow. So you're helping me with that. Okay, so Florence has a question. Emma, what do you love the most about doing this podcast with your mother?
Don't give me that look.
You gave me a look.
I gotta think that we get to talk.
That we get to talk. Because I think that is because that's your love language is spending time together. What else do you love about it? That's the biggest thing about hanging out. Because that's the one thing that you'll say. You'll be like, can we hang out? You say it to Daddy, you'll say it to me. Can I hang out? And I think because the one episode that was really hard when you cried, and I remember you were trying to hold it in, is because you're the youngest. And a lot of people are related to that, being the youngest or being an only child. So you don't have your sisters that always want to hang out with you. So it can be really hard for you, because you're so much younger, to have someone to play with. And then if Daddy and I are busy being adults, then it kind of leaves you to fend for yourself.
Just go in my room.
Yeah, and that's not. So we got to figure that out. Okay. Oh, we got some questions coming in. Aunt Dana has a question. Who would be your dream guest? So you kind of answered that, but it's a little bit different. So we have another guest question.
Ooh.
You gave some more celebrity. You have some more celebrities that you would bring in. Your dream guest. That could be anyone.
Cat's Eye.
I gotta look this up. I don't know who Cat's Eye is.
K-A-T-E-Y-E.
This is a K-pop.
Yeah. It's like different races.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll look it up.
It's a really good group. You might know of it. Like, there's some songs.
It depends on the demographic of people that are tuning in, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe people your age. Another question. What have you learned since starting?
I learned that What did you learn? I'm thinking still.
No, I think I've learned a lot about. I've been saying it the whole time. What I've learned about that I have to tap back into my creativity. That I have to create moments of pause. That I have to learn to center your voice and not get uncomfortable with some of the things that you might ask or call me in on. Just even getting more comfortable with like that. Our kids are our mirrors. So you help me to be a better human.
I learned more about things.
I mean, you could be very explicit and say you learned when we had Black History Month, you did learn about people there. Like we were intentional about saying, okay, let's focus on these people for this month.
Yes.
But also, like, did you learn how to get more comfortable in front of the camera or?
Yes. I remember in the first few episodes, I was like,
You think you were?
yeah,
Maybe.
the first few episodes, I just nodded my head, and then I started talking more.
Yeah, I think you kind of warmed
Because
up.
this is my show.
Oh, excuse me. That's the goal. So I think, yeah, and it's interesting because I think what I learned too is like that sweet spot, like how long can you go before you start going off the rails and getting tired and say, okay, we got to cut it.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
So those things too.
Yeah,
Another question.
um,
What do you do when you get nervous on the podcast?
Why are you exposing me, Aunt Dana? Usually, I'm like,
You do that. That's what I was thinking. You definitely make faces. You'll do like a side eye or you'll look at the camera sometimes. The one time you were like, help me to the camera. I don't even remember what I was saying, but you're like, we were talking about being honest. See, she just did it just now. That's what she does when she gets nervous. She just freezes up and gets real tense. Definitely what you do. And then another question. What do you say to people when they recognize you on the street? How does it No, how does it make you feel to be known by people outside of school, church, and home?
How does it make me feel?
So when people are like, "Oh my gosh, I see you. I love your podcast."
I'm like
How does it make you feel?
happy.
Is it awkward at all?
Yeah.
Is it?
Because there's like all different people. They're like, "Oh my gosh," and I'm like,
See, and I see it more over you're just like, "Thank you," tossing your hair back like, "Thank you." Would you like me to sign your autograph?
I have an autograph now. So if anyone wants any autographs, ask my mom.
She does. She does have an autograph. It almost looks like Ema though, because the other M, because you worked on your cursive, because they don't teach that in school anymore.
They did a little bit, but we in 4th grade and a little bit in 3rd. But we didn't do it that often.
Okay. Pop-up Sess has a question. Emma, can you share with the audience why you are interested in becoming a fashion designer? That's from Tom and Pop-Up.
I'm interested in being a fashion designer because I like art and I like crafts and I like making things because like sometimes when I'm bored, I just like, oh, let me just do this. And I just go do it even if I don't have a plan. I'm just like, so that's why I'm interested in being a fashion designer.
Oh, so because you don't know what it's going to look like in the end, so it kind of you learn along the way. You express yourself along the way. I think that's really cool. So maybe you do have an idea, but it might kind of veer off. Mm-hmm. And hopefully this summer you can get together with Grandma Kia, and then you can make. I know you said one of your bucket list things that you want to make a dress, and she has hopefully some fabric so that you can stop cutting up your clothes. Daddy's nodding his head too. And these are the things though, as parents, that is like maybe in some other households and other generations that when this happens, you won't get a whooping for doing that. You cutting up your clothes. But there's a bit of a pause in being like, this is something she's really interested in, and she's finding ways to help to make that become a reality. So how do we as your parents say, okay, instead of cutting up your clothes, let's get you some fabric or something. So you know how I had something I had to return and they just gave me the refund, and I said, okay, here's some fabric for you. So you can do something with that.
I'm going to make myself a dress.
So I think that's one of the
with
lessons.
Tape.
Emma and tape. But maybe we can learn how to sew. I forget how to sew, but we had the sewing machine.
My friend Isabella has a sewing machine.
Yeah, we have one. It's in Maya's room.
Yeah, but she hasn't used it.
So we can learn that, and we can have Kia teach us. So I think that is a great thing. I think so. Let's see here.
Any more questions?
Oh, is that another question, Daddy, from something? Who do you hope listens to your podcast?
Famous people.
Why? Who? You have people in. Don't name them same bands. So famous people. Why? Why do you hope famous people listen to your podcast?
I was about to say the same two people.
I know.
Recently, I've been obsessed with cats.
I see. Well, why famous people you hope listen to the podcast? What do you think?
Because they're famous people.
So how would that make a difference, or why would that be a big deal to you?
They're cool.
Because famous people are cool. What about the people you meet on the street? Are they cool? People are like, oh my gosh, we love your podcast. Keep doing what you're doing.
You're cool. Daddy's cool. Uncle Avy and Mel are cool.
But you're saying celebrities, so you would want famous people to listen to your podcast. Is that, you think it makes a bigger impact? Daddy's pulling up some, I don't even know what that is. Is that Martin Short? I don't even know what that's in reference to, but something y'all are probably watching last night. What do your friends think of your podcast? Oh, Aunt Dana said something about maybe the volume wasn't loud enough. Daddy has the headset on, so I'm not sure.
Is it good?
What do your friends think of your podcast?
I have no idea.
Because you didn't tell them.
No, I told them, but I think they forget. Because when I told them, they're like, "Oh, okay."
No, you said they were like, no way. They didn't believe you.
Yeah, because I've been doing it for like. When I told them, I've been doing it for like 3 months.
Yeah, right. And then Mrs. G was like, you have what? A podcast? Why didn't you tell me? You're like, I just didn't figure out the right time to tell you. So now she follows. Because I said, well, she's talked about you on a couple episodes. When we were talking about,
on our field
are you
trip.
funny? And you said, those fifth graders, am I right? And you said she bust out laughing in class.
Fifth graders, am I right?
It's out of context, so it's not going to be funny.
Yeah. You guys wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand.
But I'm going to fifth grade next year.
I know. I can't believe it. So,
old.
Emma, we're coming up on our hour here. What do you have some chicken nugget wisdoms for the group? Because I'm looking through, like, there were so many things, and what I'm hoping.
None of our followers have any questions.
She's so. Sometimes people might put questions in afterwards. I've got to zoom in on your face. So if you have questions, if you watch this after it downloads, or I don't know what it's called, I don't know the language, and then you can send some questions and we'll make sure we get them to Emma and you can still answer them.
Maybe they'll answer the next day because it's up for like ever.
Yeah.
Unless you take it down.
We won't take it down. We'll leave it up there. But I know you want some questions, so we can still engage with people over summer. There'll still be plenty of material. We still have plenty of clips and shorts from things that we haven't even released that Emma said.
We will take pictures on vacation. Maybe.
Maybe. But yeah, I think so. There's definitely more to come. It gives us some time to think. We will definitely send out more content because there's plenty of that. So you still have plenty of shorts. And if you do have questions, Emma really likes answering your questions. And maybe that could be something when we come back is thinking about another Q&A.
You guys have to answer my question, though.
Oh.
You guys have to do research on cat's eye.
Cat's eye. Okay.
If you already know them, then you don't have to do it.
And guess what? When we come back in August, she'll be on to some other band. So don't even.
Why? I'm gonna throw my sock at you. Well, it's gonna be a couple months.
So as we wrap up here, like, what's your chicken nugget wisdom because we're gonna take a long break. We're gonna take like 5-6 weeks off. Do you have any final chicken nugget wisdom to help people get through the summer? Or now we're entering the second half of the year.
Just do it.
Just do it's always going to be her thing. And I think that is something okay, so that's the challenge then. Like that's for the invitation for the summer is those things that you've been sitting on.
If you're thinking about going to Hawaii, just do it.
That might be a little challenging. That costs some money. But I think, right, maybe we can't do the big thing, but I think we've been sitting on dreams and aspirations a lot. And what you're saying is stop sitting on those. Stop making excuses and do it. Do what brings you joy. Do what makes you fully human. Mm-hmm. So let's think about that for the summer. What can we do? And how can we build that in every day? So we're going to do some of that work this summer. So then when we come back, we'll have some new material or some new things we cover.
I might show you guys my dress.
Ooh, that would be great.
Yeah.
So the dress that you're going to make this summer, I would love to see that. So just do it. Do that thing this summer that's going to bring you joy. It's going to make you fully human.
Swim.
And make you
that makes me happy.
Less adulting. Let's do less adulting.
Yeah.
Not just summer, but moving forward. And take care of yourself. And spend time with people that you love.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us, guys. I'll see y'all next time. See you in a couple weeks, mid-August. You gonna dance yourself out? Think, Daddy, if you hit the stop button. He doesn't want his face. Emma can do it.
This is not a touch screen.